Hey, I'm Kim.
What's up? I'm Arielle, and this is
To Whom This May Concern, the podcast. This is a weekly podcast from the Lush Consulting Firm and On the Damn Couch Media.
Are you ready to eavesdrop on some good homegirl conversation? Let's start the show. All right, welcome to this week's episode of To Whom This May Concern, the podcast. I'm Arielle.
And I'm your girl, Kim K.
All right, we got an episode for you this week. What were you about to say, Kim?
No, I was just letting you guys know we're back. We had technical difficulties the last recording, so you didn't see us.
Listen,
prayerfully, it'll work this time. We're gonna say a prayer on that. But yeah,
when the shadows of Mercury retrograde happen, they happen.
Right, that's right. So we're glad to be back.
We are glad to be back. So Kim, you want to kick it off with what we're talking about this week?
Yeah, so this week we're talking about lessons versus losses, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because both of us had a different perspective on it when we had this conversation. Like, damn, it's so funny how quick time goes, because that was like almost like a month ago.
Yeah.
And we did not come to the same space on it, because I say when you lost, you lost. That's that. And you like, nah, but you didn't lose if you learned something.
Exactly. So we kind of went in circles about that, because a lot of people look at losses as losses. And I always say I don't lose. I learn a lesson. And that's with anything. Yeah. And mostly things that you personally go through. I'm not talking about like death, bereavement, things like that, because that is a loss. But when it comes to decisions that you've made that has caused something to take place. Yeah. And what they say, the best sense is bought sense. So that's how I look at things when it comes to trials where you may make the wrong decision, but you learn a lesson from it.
Yeah. And I don't negate that you learn a lesson, but I feel like sometimes we say that out of this self-soothing lie, like, oh, I lost, but I learned a lesson, so I really didn't lose. No, you still took an L, but what I'm saying is, okay, so you got a lesson, but what I don't want to do is celebrate trauma as if, oh, I'm so glad it happened because at least I learned something. Like, no, fuck it. It hurt. It sucked. And I'm gonna let that be what that is. It's an L. I took an L. Yes, I also got a lesson out of it, but I took an L, and I will not self-soothe with a lie in order to, well, the whole point of self-soothing is to make yourself feel better. And I don't want to necessarily, like make myself feel better with a lie. I would rather be okay with the honest, hey, I put in some effort. It didn't work out. It be like that sometime. Now, here are the tools that I got from it. Like it's not a but, I'm using and, because like a lot of my conversation now, and I even said that in an Instagram post, like I've stopped using the word but, because and allows me the duality of two things are happening at one time, independent of each other, but yet I still appreciate that they are parallel to each other.
Okay. And my experience is that, so my example is that, I'm not going to go into detail, but I had a very difficult thing that happened in my life years ago, which will be in a book soon. Yeah. But going through that time period, people will consider it as a loss. Time lost from people, individuals, certain things like that. But I don't consider it as that, because in that time and in that moment, I learned so many valuable things. And I said that to say it made me a better mother, it made me a better daughter, and it made me a better person. Yeah. So the time was lost, but overall, it was the lesson was way more better than calling that a loss. Because had that not happened, I wouldn't be who I am today. And who I am today is a great ass person.
Absolutely,
so
I agree.
That time, that's nothing. That's just like when you invest in yourself or invest in a business, you lose that money, But when you think about it overall and you gain the success that you gain and you get the assets that you get, that little money compared to what you got now, it'll eat up that times 12.
Yeah.
So that's how I look at it. Yeah. I don't consider it a lot, especially if you way better than you were now than you were then.
And so, see, I have a similar experience because while it really sucked and I learned great lessons, I also still walked away with a lot of trauma. Do I now have the tools to, when I'm triggered, handle it? I handle it better than I ever have before. And hell, probably next year, I'll probably handle it even better than I did this year. But I still don't sidestep the fact that it left me with a lot of trauma. Yeah, I got a lot of great shit. And yes, I am so much better, so much happier, so much fuller of a person, but I am still left with trauma. So that's why it's like, it's okay that I took an L.
And I think I get where you coming from. The only thing is I didn't take the trauma with me. Yeah. I healed that shit. It's that way. So
and see, I guess I see it the other way because I don't know that you don't take it with you. But then again, of course, we're talking about two totally different things. Right. I think that there is some trauma that you can eventually put down and walk away from. And I think that there is some trauma that you just never put down.
Right.
And walk away.
So I'll say that it depends on the situation. Yeah. Because I'm not triggered by anything if it comes up or I'm not triggered.
Yeah. Because I mean, I got some situations in this life where it was like, oh, well, yeah, I kind of fucked that up, but whatever. Like, I don't even think about it. I didn't think about it till somebody mentioned, you remember what you did? And I was like,
right. Right. I get it.
Yeah. But like that one in particular, yeah, man, I wish it didn't affect me, you know?
Right. Yeah. I see it that way from your perspective when it comes to certain things.
So I wonder if, and this is not what I'm open to, it being flexible enough, because I even had like this like aha moment when I was having a conversation with somebody and they were like, you know, that's your ego right there. And I was like, I don't operate an ego, right? But then I thought about it. There are some spaces in my life where, yes, I do operate in a very immature ego and I now see it. And then there are other spaces in my life where, you know, ego is completely out of the equation and I work straight in humility. So I wonder if this works in the same way, where there are just some avenues where you cannot count it as a loss. You can only count it as a lesson.
I think this is that does correspond or coincide or
Isn't
compare.
It funny how quickly, well, not so much how quickly, but when you sit with something long enough, how quickly your perspective can change.
And not only that, when you talk it through.
Yeah.
Like, so, okay, leave my donation. I take donations. I help you figure it out. I take donations. You know what I'm saying?
This has been like the most introspective season. Like I'm always on some, let me dig deeper and find more about myself. But I think
let me tell you something. I pull shit up out of y'all.
Period.
Like for real.
Because big period. And I'm gonna let you have it.
I'll be like this.
Like I ain't gonna give it to you, but I'm gonna make you go find it. I'm gonna make you dig for it.
No, but and that's the thing. These type conversations need to be had so you can just look at them even with me. Like I didn't look at it from your perspective that deep based on situations. So no, that conversations like this should be had so you can look at it from every different angle. You know what I'm saying?
Just like because our mutual friend Leola said Sunday, it's so funny how different all of us are, but yet we complement each other. Like that is when opposites really attract, when it's not just different but complementary different. Like where I lack, you make up, you know? Like that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And it's crazy how it works. It works just like that. That's just in our conversation this morning. We was talking about communicating with a partner.
Yeah, I missed that whole conversation, by the way. I was running.
Oh, sorry. You got to go back and read it. But it's just, we were talking about communication. How you have to be honest with yourself or to properly communicate and be honest with the person who you're into. Like, a situation just happened where one of our friends said, I'm not myself right now because this, and this. No, you are yourself, because that's something that often occurs, which you need to warn them that that's something that happens. Yeah. So you are yourself, you're you, but you got to let them know.
You got layers. You get to be a layered ass human.
So that's being honest. You feel what I'm saying? So it just take those conversations.
And you know what, to even put that in a different frame, just if anybody's struggling to understand that one, like, so we've been doing the shred challenge or whatever in the gym, and the scale has been going up. And so me and our trainer TJ, he was like, we got to figure out what's going on. And I was like, oh, it's probably just hormones. Like, it's no big deal. Like, after the hormones settle down, like, we'll be back on track. Right. And then I went for my run today, and it was like, you're actually not being honest. You're being deceiving, because, and so finally, like, he and I have the conversation, which, I mean, he already knew the truth. He was just like, I'm gonna just wait for you to be honest with yourself. You're not lying to me, you lying to yourself, because I already know what's up. But it's like, no, I wasn't eating in the calorie deficit that you asked me to eat in. Was I resting after I worked out because rest is just as important for your results? No, I wasn't doing any of that. I was working out 6 days a week like a fucking maniac. I was doing all the things that you had already told me not to do. And I was like, oh, but it's a different factor. It can't be, it's this, it's not that.
Right.
Be honest.
Yeah. You have to,
because people can't help you if you can't be honest.
Exactly.
He couldn't help me if I wasn't ready to be honest. Like, hey, I haven't been tracking my calories. I don't know how much I've been eating in a day. I've just been like going off vibes.
Right. So, it's just one of those things, but talking that thing out, communicating, hey, you can fix it. You can fix it. It is okay. Hell, if you ate too many of this day, okay, but don't lie to me. Tell that shit to somebody else, because I know you.
Because I already know better, and that's what, again, that goes back to every relationship, whether it's romantic, whether it's platonic, whether it is a working relationship. Like, we really got to learn those communications, because we all got something to give each other if we are willing to be honest and open. And do as much listening as we do talking.
That's right. That is right. Because you got to listen to understand.
Yeah.
If you're not listening, you're not going to understand it.
Yeah. And then also make sure that when you communicate your point, you do it in a way that makes sense. You do it with clarity, because sometimes the person that you're talking to doesn't speak your language. So you're going to have to figure out what their language is so that you can deliver it.
Exactly. That's true. Because a lot of people probably looking at you like, what you talking about? Well, this is exactly what I'm talking about right here, XYZ. And because of XYZ.
Do you know how often in a day people say to me that I speak in riddles and they don't understand me? And I'm like, I said that as plain as fucking day. But I don't know, maybe I do speak in riddles.
You actually don't. I know people who do speak in riddles, and I'll just be like, hey, just go ahead. Just say the shit.
Just say the shit.
Because I don't have time to be trying to figure out what you're trying to say. But no, I don't think you speak in riddles.
I think
very clearly
was purposely trying.
You get to the point.
Understand. Yeah.
Right. You always get to the point. So they just don't. I don't know.
I think this person purposely just wanted to keep up some shit.
That could be so. You hear me?
Oh my goodness. I don't know what happened to the screen. Again, Mercury retrograde is doing its thing.
It's doing its thing.
It is. I don't even know what's happening.
We're human, guys. Just let you know. This is how it goes,
It is what it is. Like I just got the notice that, hey, you are running out of time, so wrap it up.
Okay, let's go. Well, guys, hopefully this has recorded.
Yes.
Prayerfully, we will not be away this long for as you see in our face, because we understand that you guys are visuals.
Yeah.
So when we don't record, or if the recording don't come out right, because we always record, charge it to our heads and not our hearts, please.
Yes,
okay?
because we probably did, but sometimes technology does whatever it wants to do.
Right. And let's just tell you how determined we are with this podcast. I have the worst headache ever. I just want to share that right now. But I said, you know what? We record it. We're gonna make it happen.
Listen, as soon as this wraps, I'm going to go get in the bed. I'm going to sleep.
Likewise. And because I was sleeping, I woke up just to do this. So I love you guys. So we giving it to you raw and uncut. Okay.
That's okay. That's honestly the best way to give it to anybody at all.
Exactly. So
that's it. Thanks for listening, by the way, to whom this may concern the podcast.
See you next week.